Welcome back, dear students. We will focus on multiple choice questions related to random variables and probability distributions. Students must watch the entire video to understand the concepts thoroughly. Don't skip any part of the video to ensure you grasp all the necessary information. The video content will help you become familiar with the topic, which is essential for answering MCQs correctly. Take notes while watching the video and review key concepts to perform well in the MCQs. So, our first question, what is a discrete random variable? Generally, a discrete random variable can only take specific distinct values like integers. The correct answer is option B. Which of the following is true about the sum of two independent discrete random variables? We know that the sum of two discrete random variables is also a discrete, so that the correct answer is option D. Which of the following represents a discrete probability distribution? We have the Poisson distribution models. Discrete events occur at a fixed rate, like the number of heads in multiple coin tosses, so that the correct answer is option C. Which distribution describes the number of heads in an infinite number of coin tosses? For a large number of tosses, the number of heads approaches a normal distribution according to the central limit theorem. The correct answer is option A. What is the cumulative distribution function CDF for tossing a fair coin? For a discrete variable like a coin toss, the CDF gives the probability of random variable being less than or equal to a certain value, such as probability of x less than or equal to 1. The correct answer is option B. What is the probability distribution of a fair coin toss? In a fair coin toss, both heads and tails have an equal probability of 1/2. The correct answer is option A. Which of the following represents a discrete random variable? A discrete random variable takes specific countable values like the number of heads in multiple tosses, so that the correct answer is option B. What is the expected value for the number of heads when tossing a fair coin 4 times? The expected value is the mean of outcomes. For 4 tosses, the expected number of heads is 4 times 1/2, that is 2. Answer is B. In tossing a fair coin, what is the probability of getting exactly one head in 2 tosses? The possible outcomes are head, 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 tail, tail, head, and tail, tail. Exactly one head occurs in HT and TH, so the probability is 2/4. The number of favorable cases here is 2 and total cases 4. The result is 1/2. Correct answer is A. What is the probability of getting no heads in 3 tosses of a fair coin? The outcomes where no heads occur is TTT, which is only 1 out of 8 possible outcomes. The correct answer is option A. If a discrete random variable x represents the number of heads in 4 tosses of a fair coin, which value can x not to be taken? The number of heads must be an integer, so 4.5 is not possible. The correct answer is option D. What is the probability of getting exactly 2 heads in 3 tosses of a fair coin? The outcomes with exactly 2 heads are head, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, head. So the probability is 3/8. Favorable case is 3. The total case is 8. Answer is C. If a coin is tossed 3 times, what is the probability of getting at least one head? The only outcome without heads is triple T. So the probability of at least one head is 1 minus of probability of getting tails, that is 1 minus 1/8. Answer is 7/8. Correct answer is B. What type of random variable is the number of heads in a series of coin tosses? The number of heads is countable, so it is a discrete random variable. Correct answer is B. What is the probability of getting exactly 3 heads in 4 tosses of a fair coin? The outcomes with exactly 3 heads are H, 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 T, H, H, T, H, H, T, H, H, and T, H, H. So the probability is 4/16. Favorable case is 4 and total case is 16. 1/4, that is 0.5, 0.25. Correct answer is A. Which distribution best describes the number of heads in 10 coin tosses? The number of heads in a fixed number of coin tosses follows a binomial distribution. The correct answer is option A. In a binomial distribution, what does n represent? Generally, n represents the total number of independent trials in a binomial experiment. The correct answer is A. Which of the following is a property of discrete probability distribution? In a valid discrete probability distribution, the sum of all probabilities must be equal to 1. Therefore, the correct answer is A. What is the probability of an event in a probability distribution? The probabilities must lie within the range of 0 and 1. So, a number between 0 and 1 is a correct answer. It is A. It is C. Which of the following represents the probability mass function in a discrete distribution? The probability mass function assigns a probability to each possible value of a discrete random variable. Correct answer is B. If a discrete random variable x has the following probability distribution: when x is equal to 0, the probability is 0.2. When x is equal to 1, probability is 0.5. When x is equal to 2, probability is 0.3. What is the expected value of the random variable? That is mean the expected value is summation x into p of x. So, 0 into 0.2 plus 1 into 0.5 plus 2 into 0.3. So, here it is 1.3 is the expected value of the random variable. Which of the following is a valid discrete probability distribution? One can observe that the sum of probabilities must be equal to 1. Option B satisfies this. The correct answer is option B. What is the variance of discrete random variable? The variance measures the expected squared deviation of a random variable from its mean, so that correct answer is D. If x follows a binomial distribution with parameters n is 3, p is 0.5, what is the probability of getting exactly 2 successes? We have the binomial probability formula. Probability of x is equals to 2. Getting exactly 2 successes means 3c2 into 1 by 2 whole power 2 into 1 minus 0.5 power 1, that gives us 0.375. The correct answer is option A. The Poisson distribution is used to model the number of events occurring in a fixed interval. Which of the following is a correct assumption for this distribution? The Poisson distribution assumes events occur independently and at a constant rate, so that the correct answer is B. The probability of an event occurring in a discrete probability distribution must be, probabilities must lies within the range of 0 and 1. The correct answer is option A. The expected value of a discrete random variable is, the expected value is the long run average or mean of all possible values weighted by their probabilities. The correct answer is option C. Which distribution would be most appropriate to model the number of customers arriving at a store in particular 1 hour time period? The Poisson distribution is appropriate for modeling the number of events occurring in a fixed interval of time, so that it is a Poisson distribution. Answer will be B. The cumulative distribution function of a discrete random variable gives, as we know, the cumulative distribution function gives the probability that the random variable is less than or equals to a specific value. Answer is B. Which of the following is true about the binomial distribution? The binomial distribution models scenarios with the 2 possible outcomes, either success or failure in each trial. The correct answer is option B. For a fair die, what is the expected value of the outcome? The expected value is calculated as 1 into 1 by 6 plus 2 into 1 by 6 plus 3 into 1 by 6 plus 4 into 1 by 6 plus 5 into 1 by 6 plus 6 into 1 by 6. Why? Because in a fair die, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, here it is expectation of x means sigma x into p of x. As per the formula, we have 3.5. Correct answer is C. Which property of expectation holds for all random variables x and y and constants a and b? This is a linear property of expectation, so that the correct answer is option A here. The expectation of a discrete random variable is also known as mean. Why? Because the expectation of discrete random variable is commonly referred to as its mean. The expectation of random variable is always the weighted average of all possible outcomes. Correct answer is option D. Which of the following is true about the expectation of constant random variable C? So, the expectation of constant random variable is simply the constant itself. Correct answer is B. Which of the following is the correct definition of the variance of a discrete random variable X? The variance is expected value of squared deviation from the mean. Generally, it is simply estimated by expectation of x square minus expectation of x whole square. If a discrete random variable x can take values 0, 1 and 2 with probabilities 0.2, 0.5, 0.3 respectively, what is expectation of x square? So, expectation of x square is generally 0 square into 0.2 its probability plus 1 square into its probability plus 2 square into probability 0.3. After computation you will get 1.4. The correct answer is option A. What is continuous random variable? A continuous random variable can take any value within range or interval. Often it is represented by the real numbers. Correct answer is option B. Which of the following is an example of a continuous random variable? Age is a continuous random variable because it can take any real value within the range. For example, 25.5 years lies between 25 and 26. Correct answer is B, age of a person. What is the probability density function of a continuous random variable? The probability density function of a continuous random variable is used to compute probabilities over intervals, not specific values. Correct answer is B. Why? Because a function that assigns probabilities to intervals only. What is the total probability of continuous random variable? The probability of continuous random variable over its entire range is always 1. Correct answer is option A. Which distribution is commonly used to model continuous random variable? The normal distribution is one of the most common continuous distributions used in statistics. Correct answer is option C, normal distribution. What does area under the probability density function curve represent? The area under the probability density function curve represents the total probability, which is always equal to 1. Correct answer is option D, total probability. Which of the following is not a continuous random variable? The number of phone calls is discrete as it takes integer values. Correct answer is C. Next one, what does the cumulative distribution function of a continuous random variable represents? Generally, the cumulative distribution function gives the probability that the random variable is less than or equals to certain specific value. So, that the answer is B. Which of the following is true for a continuous random variable with a normal distribution? In a normal distribution, the mean, median and mode coincident at the center of the distribution. Correct answer is C. What happens to the probability density function of a continuous random variable as its variance increases? Increasing variance makes the distribution wider and flatter, spreading the probability over a large range, so that the correct answer is B, that is a probability density function becomes wider. What is the expected value of continuous random variable? The expected value is the average of all possible outcomes weighted by their probability, so that the correct answer is B, that is weighted average of all possible outcomes. Which of the following is true for the variance of a continuous random variable? Variance quantifies spread or dispersion of the values about the mean, so that the correct answer is option A. For a standard normal distribution, what is the mean? A standard normal distribution has mean 0 and variance 1. In this case, mean, the correct answer is A, that is 0. What is the range of continuous random variable? The range of continuous random variable is usually interval or union of intervals, the real numbers. The correct answer is B, that is a specific interval or set of intervals are to be taken. Which of the following is not a continuous random variable? The number of children is a discrete random variable because it takes integer values. The correct answer is D. Which of the following is a characteristic of the normal distribution? The normal distribution is symmetric with the mean, median and mode all are coinciding at the center, so that the correct answer is C, it is a symmetric around the mean. What is the probability of a continuous random variable falling outside of its range? For any valid continuous distribution, the probability of the random variable falling outside of its range is only 0. Correct answer is B only. Which of the following distribution is often used to model distribution of errors in regression analysis? The normal distribution is commonly used to model errors or residuals in a regression analysis, so that the correct answer is option B, that is a normal distribution. The skewness of symmetric continuous random variable is generally for a symmetric distribution. What we have normal distribution, the skewness is 0, meaning the distribution has no skew. Answer is A, it is 0. What does the central limit theorem states about the sum of large number of independent identically distributed random variables? So, here the central limit theorem states that as sample size grows, the sum of large number of independent random variables will tend to follow a normal distribution. Correct answer is C. Which of the following is the correct formula for the probability density function of a normal distribution? So, answer A is the correct one. Why? Because this is the correct formula for the probability density function of the normal distribution. In this case, mu is the mean and sigma is the standard deviation of the distribution. Which of the following does not affect the shape of the normal distribution curve? Generally, skewness affects the shape of the distribution. The normal distribution has no skew, skewness will be 0, and it changes where we have mean and standard deviation affect the location and spread of the curve, so that the correct answer is option D, skewness. What is the integral of the probability density function over entire range of continuous random variable? The total probability for a continuous random variable must equal 1, meaning the integral of the probability density function over its entire range is unity. Correct answer is B, that is 1. Which function is used to describe the probability distribution of a continuous random variable? A continuous random variable is described by probability density function, which gives the relative likelihood of different outcomes, so that the correct answer is option C, probability density function. For a continuous random variable, what does the area under the probability density function curve represent? The area under the probability density function curve between 2 points represents the probability that the random variable takes a value within that range, so that the correct answer is option C, that is the probability of outcomes within a range. Which of the following is the probability density function of a normal distribution? Generally, the normal distribution is represented by bell shaped curve, which is a probability density function. Answer is B, bell curve. What is the variance of standard normal distribution? Generally, the variance of the standard normal distribution is 1 and its mean is 0. Correct answer is B. Which of the following properties does a continuous random variable not to have? So, here it is a probability mass function is used to discrete random variables, while continuous random variables use a probability density function, so that the correct answer is B here, a probability mass function which is related to the given question. What is the probability of continuous random variable falling outside the range AB? That is the probability of falling outside the range AB is a complement of the probability of falling within the range AB, that is 1 minus probability of x lies between A and B is the correct answer, it is B. In a normal distribution, if the mean mu and standard deviation sigma, what is the probability of a value being within one standard deviation of the mean? Generally, we know that in a normal distribution, about 68% of the data falls within one standard deviation of the mean, so that the correct answer is option A. Remember carefully. So, when the probability of a value being within one standard deviation of the mean is always 68%. For a continuous random variable, the variance measures the spread of the distribution, indicating how much the value deviate from the mean. That is answer A, the spread of the distribution is the correct answer. What shape does a normal distribution curve have? Generally, a normal distribution curve is symmetric and bell shaped, where most values cluster around the mean. The correct answer is C, it is a bell shaped. A normal distribution is characterized by which of the following? A normal distribution is symmetrical around its mean and has a bell shaped curve, so that the correct answer is option B. The area under the curve of a normal distribution is always, you know that the total area under the curve of a normal distribution equals to 1, representing 100% of the probability. Therefore, the correct answer is option B, it is unity. In a normal distribution, the skewness, generally a normal distribution has 0 skewness, meaning it is a perfectly symmetric, so that it is 0. What percentage of values fall within one standard deviation of the mean in a normal distribution? So, generally you have it is one standard deviation 68% already we have discussed, and I have shown here it is, so one standard deviation of the mean and 2 standard deviation of the mean and 3 standard deviation of the mean, and 1 standard deviation of the mean is 68%, 2 standard deviation of the mean is 95%, and 3 standard deviation of the mean is 99.7%. Please remember these key points while performing the probabilities of such normal distribution. In a normal distribution, approximately what percentage of data falls within 2 standard deviations of the mean? About 95% of the data in a normal distribution lies within 2 standard deviations of the mean, so that the correct answer is option B, 95%. What is the probability of value falling within 3 standard deviations of the mean in a normal distribution? As we discussed, approximately 99.7% of values lies within 3 standard deviations of the mean in a normal distribution. The correct answer is C, that is 99.7%. Which of the following distribution is used to as an approximation of many types of natural phenomena? Generally, the normal distribution is often used to approximate natural phenomena due to its central limit theorem. The correct answer is option A, it is a normal distribution. Which of the following is not a characteristic of the normal distribution? A normal distribution has a single mode and it is a unimodal, not bimodal, so that the correct answer is here it is B, it has 2 modes, it is not characteristic of a normal distribution. What does the area under the normal distribution curve represent? The area under the curve represents the probability of all possible outcomes in the distribution, so that the correct answer is B, the total probability of all events. So, what is the relationship between the mean and standard deviation in a normal distribution? So, the mean and standard deviations are independent parameters that define normal distribution, but they are not mathematically related, so that the correct answer is C, there is no fixed relationship among these two parameters. What is the purpose of using Z table in the normal distribution? Generally, the Z table helps determine the cumulative probability associated with a specific Z score in the normal distribution. The correct answer is option A. Which of the following is true for a normal distribution? Generally, the normal distribution has asymptotic tails that get closer to the x-axis but never actually touch it, so that the correct answer is option B. What is the kurtosis of a normal distribution? A normal distribution has kurtosis value of 3, which is referred to as the mesokurtic, indicating a moderate peak, so that correct answer is option C. What happens to the spread of normal distribution when the standard deviation increases? Generally, as the standard deviation increases, the curve of the normal distribution becomes wider and flatter, so that the correct answer is option B. What is the empirical rule primarily used for? Generally, the empirical rule, also known as the 68, 95, 99.7 rule, it is used to describe how data is distributed in a normal distribution, with 68% of the data within 1 standard deviation and 95% within the 2 standard deviation and 99.7% within 3 standard deviation from the mean actually, so that understanding normal distribution is the correct option, it is B. What percentage of data is found outside 3 standard deviations in a normal distribution? So, here it is very important key concept. We have the empirical rule states that 99.7% of data lies within 3 standard deviations of the mean. So, only 0.3% is outside this range. The correct answer is C, option 0.3%. The empirical rule is only applicable to which type of distribution? The empirical rule specifically applies to normal distributions which are symmetric and bell shaped, so that the correct answer is C, normal distribution. How many standard deviations does the empirical rule cover in the total? The empirical rule covers 3 standard deviations like 68%, 95%, 99.7% of the data. Therefore, the correct answer is C, that is 3. What does the empirical rule imply about spread of the data in a normal distribution? Generally, the empirical rule suggests the most of the data points in a normal distribution lie close to the mean, with a few points farther away. That is the right thing. So, the correct answer is B. Here it is, most data points are close to the mean. How can you use empirical rule to estimate the percentage of data between 1 and 2 standard deviations? Generally, to estimate percentage of data between 1 and 2 standard deviations, subtract the percentage of data within 1 standard deviation from the percentage within 2 standard deviations. 95% minus 68% gives us 27%. Therefore, the correct answer here it is B, subtract 68% from 95%. What does a normal distribution look like when plotted? Generally, a normal distribution is symmetrical and bell shaped with the peak at the mean, so that the correct answer is B, symmetrical with peak at the mean. Which of the following is not a requirement for applying the empirical rule? Generally, the empirical rule applies only normal distributions, not binary data, which has only two possible outcomes. Therefore, the correct answer is D, the data is binary here. Which of the following is an example of a continuous probability distribution? The normal distribution is continuous, whereas binomial, Poisson, geometric distributions are discrete. The correct answer here it is B, normal distribution. What is the range of a probability density function for a continuous random variable? A probability density function values range between 0 and 1, representing the probabilities that must be between these two bounds. Therefore, the correct answer is A, between 0 and 1. The total area under continuous probability distribution curve equals to generally 1. The answer is A, 1. Why? Because the area under the probability density function curve represents the total probability, which must be equal to 1. Which of the following is true for the normal distribution? Generally, in a normal distribution, the mean and variance uniquely define the distribution. So, the correct answer is C. It is completely determined by its mean and variance. The area under the normal curve represents what? Generally, the area under the normal curve corresponds to the probability of variable falling within a particular range, so that the correct answer is option A, probability. If a normal variable has mean of 10 and standard deviation of 2, what is the Z score of the value 14? Generally, we have the formula for computing Z, x minus mu by sigma, where mu is mean, sigma is standard deviation, x value already given, it is a 14. 14 minus 10 by 2 is 4 by 2 is 2. The correct answer is 2 here. For a normal distribution with mean of 50 and standard deviation of 10, what is the Z score of 70? So, Z equals to x minus mu by sigma. Use this formula, you will get the value is 2. Answer B is 2 here. The area under the curve for a standard normal distribution from Z equals to minus infinity to plus infinity, the total area under the curve of the standard normal distribution is 1, which representing the total probability. Correct answer is option A. What does the standard deviation of normal distribution represents? The standard deviation measures how spread out the values of normal distribution, and it is about the mean. Therefore, the correct answer is D, the spread of distribution. Which parameter defines the location of a normal distribution? Generally, the mean determines the center of location of the normal distribution. The correct answer is option A. If a normal distribution has a variance of 25, what is the standard deviation? Generally, the standard deviation is the square root of the variance, it is 5. Which of the following describes the tails of normal distribution? The tails of normal distribution extend infinitely in both directions and never actually touch the x-axis. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Which of the following affects the spread of normal distribution? Generally, the variance or standard deviation determines the spread of normal distribution. A higher variance means a wider distribution, so that the correct answer is option B. Which of the following statements is true for a normal distribution? Normal distribution has only one peak at the mean and it is symmetric about the mean, and the correct answer is C. What happens to the normal distribution when the variance is reduced to 0? When variance is 0, all the data points are at the same value, leading to a degenerate distribution. Correct answer is B. What type of distribution is considered as a limit of binomial distribution for large n and p is equal to 0.5? The binomial distribution approaches the normal distribution as n becomes large and p is about 0.5. It is only normal distribution. Correct answer is option A. What is the value of the mean and standard deviation of standard normal distribution? Generally, in a standard normal distribution, the mean is 0, standard deviation is 1, so that the correct answer is option B. The total area to the right of mean is in a normal distribution is due to symmetry. Half of the area to normal distribution is to the right of mean, which is 50%. Correct answer is option A, 50%. What happens to the normal distribution curve as the standard deviation increases? As the standard deviation increases, the distribution spreads out, making the curve more wider, so that the correct answer is option C, the curve becomes wider.